What's up, guys? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Hey, happy Wednesday, or as we say, hump day in the Midwest. It is an interesting day, so let's talk about what's going to happen in the markets and where we're seeing things, and then the game plan for tomorrow, and maybe even a little bit on Friday. We're getting into some key extension points, into the market, and we had a rest day yesterday, so I think that may have relieved some of the tension. But we are still getting pretty overbought. If you look at from where we were to where we are now, it's about a 10% move in the last, handful of days, which is really an elongated move in a market index. So we'll have to be a little bit careful. We had kind of an inside day on Friday, so that did relieve some of the tension. I thought, if we were going to roll over, it would have been on a gap up tomorrow. If we get a big gap up tomorrow, I do think we try to fade this, as we are getting a little bit long in the tooth from the 9 EMA over here for maybe a day or two, kind of thing. It seems like probably, the market's due for one of these, just what we'd call like a trend pullback. In the context, right, of your trend, you're going to have these kind of 3 to 4 day kind of dips every month or so as you get into certain extensions. And I think we probably are getting into the zone of that, as we're getting really overbought for, long periods of time. And that's usually the sign that things are going to happen. And it's just been feeling a little bit frothy, right? So just keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at the market breadth here real quick. If you look at market breadth, it's been not really anything special. We're kind of led by a handful of stocks here. That's okay. This doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it is something to kind of keep track of. We have very few stocks. If you look here at the number of stocks over the 200-day moving average, we have not had any rise in this really since the kind of end of that big dump, that was happening last year into this, right? So, and I think that was kind of right the end of the, what we'd call, the bear market, right? Or, the big pullback of the summer, I should say. So we haven't made much progress in terms of market breadth, but we've had a lot of action because of the semiconductors and the AI names. And so that's where the market's concentrated. If we get a roll, then that's where we have to take them down. Now, on the other side of things, there's a whole host of stocks that are still looking really good that I think we can play. So let's get into the game plan. So once again, if we have a big gap up tomorrow, I think, like 1% or more, we try to take it down. If we end up opening weak, then I actually think probably the market is a long and then let it rip, and then maybe we try to fade it on Friday. Those are kind of the two scenarios that I'm personally thinking, we should look at. Now, on the other side of things, there's still really a lot of good-looking stocks. So let's get into this on the SPY. You can see the SPY is a little bit less extended than the QQQ, but we still have, a pretty good extension that we're going to have to be careful of. And then the IWM is right into resistance. So, that's probably the easier fader right here to keep an eye on. Let's go into the watch list, though. So moral of the story, right? The big hairy Indian butt is that if we get one more big push, we'll try to take the market down. If we get any signs of weakness, though, the play is to buy it, right? Shorting weakness has not been anything worthwhile for a long period of time. So we want to be able to trade with the trends, and there's still a lot of good-looking stocks out there. Let's take a little goose and a gander at these things. So SMAR, this is, first of all, these nuclear companies, and, have been going nuts. This one has got a nice range break over here around 950. We've been putting this NNE right on the watch list for quite some time. This one came out of a recent flag pattern. Dude, just this kind of, we want to be a part of these. They're a little bit more thin, but you've got an easy, happy-go-lucky level right here on the hourly chart that you can kind of trade around, and you're right at a sweet spot. So if we need some longs, I think this one's got a good look to it. CELLH finally bounced yesterday. I've been watching this thing for literally weeks. Finally had a bounce yesterday. I want to see if maybe this is something that could turn into a reversal. We've retraced almost 50% of the gains. You're right back into this huge key zone of support. And I know there's been some talk on CELLH. They had this thing where it was, what's it called? a person died from, the green tea extract in it or something along that end. Seems like maybe it's probably an overreaction to, what has been a hyper growth name for, quite some time. It's, given back most of its half its market cap. Probably a good spot to start looking at this thing, especially if it remounts the 200-day moving average. I got this on watch. It's got a good look to it. Now, MU, I'm looking at any big pushes in MU to kind of get short for a day. Your 9 EMA is about $12 away. I'd need a gap up, though. Like, if it opens weak here, like, for example, if it opens down here, then, dude, we got no choice but to probably long this thing, right? So just kind of be mindful of that. SMCI. This one, it's been working really well off dips, but I would be careful, like, chasing this because you're coming into resistance here. It looks like it's got a $1,000 magnet, but see how it's just like kind of pulls back here and then rips, pulls back here and then rips. That's the kind of play we want to do on it. Got a good look, but, may need an inside day or some kind of retest over here before, not a retest, but like maybe a small red day here before it takes off. That would kind of tighten up this range and allow this. So when you look at breakouts, if you're looking at these and you're like, you just, to break the range, but coming straight into it is not really it's not going to be a good setup. What you want to do is, like, if it's got the range, you want it to come in and then pull back, tighten up, and then go, right? That's usually the best way the sustainable ones are. Billy's got a range break here. Also, I believe it's just got a $20 upgrade. I think this one's ready to pate tomorrow. Been bucking the China stocks right now, too. It's got a good look. CRDO's got a nice flag pattern here. Got a 29.70 entry. TTD looks great. You got a $100 roll setting up over here. A little bit of a range break. Looks pretty good. Halo, breakout, pull back into the bone zone. Green candle to hold. I think this one has got a shot now to kind of work its way right back into this kind of 53, 54. Hey, there was a note out on the solar stocks, and they've already been dropping, but there was a note out on some cuts and guidance and stuff like that. I saw it on the wire somewhere. I think Mark Flo Chatter posted it. Pretty cool stuff, right? So, let's keep an eye. We may have to short some of these tomorrow. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. This guy's awesome. I've known this guy for over a decade. Awesome dude. Especially to get the shit kicked out of him. However, more info comes to the Intersolar in Munich with OEMs and distributors. So let's keep an eye on these. They've already been kind of getting smoked out a little bit, so we do got to be careful. But let's see, because it is down a few days in a row. But if you get a small week open on this one to the upside, let's try to yank it. mRNA, 10 days in a row now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days below the lower Bollinger Band. A gap down into the 50-day moving average. Sets this up for a rubber band setup. Let's hit that. And then love this, right? ANF. So you get the pop up on earnings. Pull back to 90 EMA. The second test. Now you're coming back through for the third test. Dude, that's a good look, man. 195's upcoming. It's in the cards. I don't believe this one does any options on it. So you won't have really like crazy buyers necessarily, a little bit, but you won't have any crazy pushes. It just doesn't do that much volume. You're going to have to trade the equity on it, but got a great look. Probably a little bit of a swing trade if you can break this 195. And that's the list, Thinking is, maybe we need one more big gap up in some of these names to just get them outside the upper Bollinger Band. And, any of these, AVGO, NVIDIA. I trade MU the best personally, so, that's what I'll short if we see a big ramp up. That's what I'll short personally, just because this is what I trade the best, right? So my stats show that I really stink at NVIDIA. And AMD, not so much either. But like Dell, Taiwan Semiconductor, Qualcomm even, and MU, dude, I'm like lights out this year. I don't know, just like a kink in the matrix, but, these are the things. So, guys, smash that like button for me, man. Leave me a comment. Tell me how sexy I am. And I love you guys. Peace.